Here's the newest addition to my Midget. So I've ordered an Accuspark ignition set from the UK, which came a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just getting around to installing it now. And what I needed to do before I tried to install this was just make sure that I had my oil situation sorted out, and my spark plugs that I just pulled out. They're looking pretty good. These only have a couple hundred kilometers on them, but they're looking a whole lot better than the spark plugs ever have from this car. So the first thing I needed to do was to ensure that I had top dead center sorted out. Now, normally you probably wouldn't need to do this if your car was running perfectly, but I've had some issues with mine, and I wanted to make sure that before I went to this trouble, I knew that where top dead center was on my harmonic balancer. And let me just show you what I got under. Anybody with a Midget will, with a 1275 anyway, will feel my pain here. This is my harmonic balancer, and I've had to make my own mark at top dead center. It's a little hard to see there, but so the leftmost, and I'm at a bit of an angle, but the leftmost tooth is top dead center, and the notch that was on my harmonic balancer does not line up with that tooth. So I've had to make my own mark, and I did make sure that the engine was at top dead center for cylinder 1, and there are lots of videos on the internet showing you how to do that. So we're not going to do that, but I do know that it's that mark is correct. So when I go to check the timing after I change the distributor, I'll know that this is in the correct location. So with the kit that I got, it comes with a new coil, even though this coil is probably just fine. It comes with a new distributor with electronic ignition module. This is the old points unit. And I ordered the kit that came with the side entry cap, and my kit came with a set of spark plugs, and I ordered the hot ones because most of the driving that I do with this car is just locally, and I want to make sure that the spark plugs stay hopefully as clean as possible for as long as possible. The oil catch can that I installed a few weeks ago seems to be working great, but it is definitely capturing quite a bit of oil. All right, so the first thing that I needed to do is just confirm that I've got the polarity correct on my coil. So that'll be the next thing I do. I'll just turn on the ignition to the run position and make sure that my positive is where it should be and negative is where it should be. I believe it is. This, I can see it's clearly marked positive on this side. On my harness, it's white wire, and this black and white wire, or this white wire with black stripe, is on the negative terminal, and that wire actually just goes through the harness here and goes directly to the distributor right there. So I believe it's already correct, but I'll just check it with a meter to make sure. So this car is a negative ground car, and that was how it came from the factory. So I've disconnected the positive and the negative wires from the coil just to make sure that I'm measuring properly and not measuring through the coil. So my positive goes into the white wire in my harness. I'll touch the negative to earth ground, or to the ground of the engine block, and I've got 12 volts. And if I switch over to the negative side, nothing. So I know that the coil was wired up correctly to the wiring, and so I know that when I connect the electronic ignition, I'm not going to blow the module. If you ordered a set of wires and a new cap for your distributor, I suggest you take the screws out and make sure that your wires, sorry about the focus there, that your wires are going fully into the holes before you put the screws in, because they're really tight. So make sure you can see the red wire, if you're using red ones like these, at the bottom of the hole all the way through before you put the screws back in. Let's give it a crank and see if the Accuspark ignition installed on the Midget works first go. So I'll still have to check the timing with the light. It's obviously just a little bit off. Sitting there idling right now. We'll check it with the timing light and see how we can get it set up. But that's a pretty good start.